Hello again. In this video, I'll cover the fabrication and installation of a plywood deck for the Haulmaster 4x8 trailer. After exploring different materials, I settled on 3/4 inch plywood. It offers good support and an unbroken surface, which is ideal for our needs. It's also easier to mount compared to individual planks. I chose Douglas fir plywood with an AC rating because it has one sanded side and the backside is still decent enough to only require minor filling and sanding. It might be tempting to buy pressure-treated plywood, but pressure-treated wood is designed to be used for contact with the ground and other locations prone to standing water and insects. It also requires coated or stainless steel fasteners since it will corrode most bare metal. Plus, cuts and holes must be retreated to retain the effectiveness of the treatment, and adding a finish like paint or stain can be problematic. For maximum durability, a better choice would be marine plywood. It's more expensive, but contains more layers that are bonded with a waterproof adhesive. It will also have a smoother surface. The first step was to ensure the plywood lies flat on the trailer frame. Because the trailer is a kit, there are numerous bolt heads on top of the rails. My modifications added a few more. Securing plywood to an uneven surface can cause it to flex, creating microfractures that can wick moisture and accelerate delamination and rot. The solution was to drill recesses on the underside of the plywood to fit over the bolt heads, rather than have it rest on top of them. To locate the recesses, I placed pieces of aluminum foil tape at each bolt location. I then placed the plywood on the trailer and secured it with clamps. I used a rubber mallet to strike each location firmly. When I removed the plywood, the bolt heads had made a clear impression in the foil tape without damaging the wood. I used the pilot point of my 1-inch Forstner bit to mark the center of each bolt. Placing a full sheet of plywood in the drill press would have been challenging, so I created a depth gauge by inserting a piece of 3/4 inch PVC pipe into a T. The Forstner bit slips through the T, and the chuck of the drill rests against the opening. I set the depth by chucking the bit to the appropriate length and drilled each location until the T bottomed out. I used 3/8 inch carriage bolts to maintain a low profile and cleaner look, but still wanted to recess the heads rather than leave them proud of the surface. After marking the locations of the mounting holes, I used the same technique to create recesses, but more shallow. I then went back and cleaned up each recess by running the bit at high speed, but with very little pressure. Then I drilled the rest of the way through the plywood with a 3/8 inch twist bit. Because the ends of the plywood have 3 layers of end grain rather than just 2 like the sides, I chose to protect them by adding pieces of 1/4 by 3/4 inch pine screen trim. I sanded the top, but the end of the front trim needed to be re-glued, so I squeezed more into the gap and used a ratcheting bow line and cardboard to clamp it. After the glue set, I completed the top sanding. The trailer's cross members attach inside the rails, creating yet another height discrepancy. I solved it by cutting 1/8 inch tempered hardboard into strips and glued them to the plywood in line with the cross members. I wanted the deck to be black, so I looked at do-it-yourself bed liner sprays, farm and implement paint, and standard enamel. I've used solid exterior stain on fencing and masonry walls with great results, but hadn't considered it for the trailer deck until I discovered Cabot solid stain is available in black. I chose the stain for several reasons. It's water-based and therefore much easier to clean up. It produces less fumes compared to oil-based products. It dries faster. Since it's both stain and sealer, it offers better penetration compared to paint or other surface coatings. The Cabot Solid Stain includes UV protection. Unlike paint, renewing the deck will be as easy as applying a fresh coat of stain. After staining the underside and letting it dry overnight, I stained the top. I'm just finishing up the second coat now. Here's the deck installed on the trailer. As you can see, it rests flat on the frame rails and doesn't sag in the middle. I also added flush hole plugs to prevent water from collecting in the recesses. That'll do it for now. If you have any questions or suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.